All right, let's jump right in. If you're a new school leader, a department head, or even an instructional coach, you know this feeling, right? Your team looks to you for all the answers, and that pressure to have a solution for everything is just immense. But what if I told you the most powerful thing you could do isn't to provide the answer, but to ask the right question?
This quote right here, this is the core idea we're going to unpack. It's a huge mindset shift. It's about moving from being the expert who has all the answers to becoming a thinking partner for your staff. Your real job isn't to solve their problems for them, but to help them tap into the wisdom they already have to solve those problems themselves. You know, it's a totally natural instinct for leaders. We see a problem, and our first impulse is to fix it, to offer a solution. But honestly, that's a trap. When we give answers, we can accidentally create dependency. But when we ask powerful questions, we build capacity. We build ownership.
Okay, look at this slide. This really nails the difference. The suggestion on the left, have you tried this? It's a closed door. It's basically a yes or no question that leads to your solution. But the powerful question on the right, what options have you considered? That just opens up a whole world of possibilities. It invites your team member to think for themselves and find their own best path forward.
So, and this is crucial, we're not just asking questions to get information. A truly good coaching question does so much more. It sparks genuine curiosity in people, it gets them to reflect, and it can even help them see the underlying assumptions that might be holding them back. The real goal here is to generate energy and creativity, not just to get a simple answer.
All right, now this next part might just be the most important and probably the most difficult tool to master. After you ask a really great question, what you don't say is every bit as important as the question itself. So you ask that powerful, open-ended question, and then you just stay quiet. That silence, I know, it can feel a little awkward, but that's where the magic happens. That's the space you're giving the other person for their brain to actually process, to make new connections, and to come up with a really thoughtful response. If you jump in and break that silence, you're robbing them of that critical thinking time.
And this really does take discipline. You ask the question just one time. You fight that urge to rephrase it or jump in because the pause feels long. Your silence is a gift. It gives your colleague permission to slow down and do their absolute best thinking. You're not just listening to figure out what you'll say next, you're listening to serve their thought process.
So let's talk about the actual structure of a coaching conversation. Every great session has to start with a clear focus. Before you even dive into the challenge, you need to work together to figure out what a successful outcome from this conversation would actually look like for them.
This is just a fantastic way to kick things off. Instead of starting with, "So, what's the problem?" you immediately frame the entire conversation around a positive, tangible goal. It just shifts the energy from what's wrong to what's possible, right from the very start.
Okay, so once you have that clear goal, you get into the middle of the conversation. And this is where you pull out your tools. You'll use different types of questions to help your colleague really explore the issue from all kinds of new angles and unlock those aha moments. First up, we have what are called scaling questions. These are amazing for turning something abstract, like a teacher's confidence with a new curriculum, into something concrete you can talk about. Instead of a vague, "I'm not feeling great about it," you get a number, and that gives you a real, solid starting point. For example, you could ask a teacher, "On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with this new classroom management strategy?" And let's say they say, "I'm at a 6. Now, the number itself isn't really the point. The real coaching begins with the follow-up. Okay, a 6 is a great start. What would need to happen to get you to a 7? See, that's where the conversation really starts. Next up is circular questioning. This is such a powerful tool for when a teacher just feels stuck in their own head, you know? You're basically asking them to step outside of their own shoes for a minute and see the situation through somebody else's eyes. And you can adapt this so easily to a school setting. You could ask something like, "What would a veteran teacher on your team say about this challenge?" Or even, "How do you think your most engaged student would describe this new project?" It's a great way to break old thought patterns and spark totally new ideas. Now, when a team member is just completely stuck focusing on the problem, the miracle question can be an absolute game changer. It's a really creative thought experiment that helps them just leapfrog over the obstacle and imagine a future where it's already solved. It's all about firing up their creativity. Asking this helps your team member build a super vivid, detailed picture of what success really looks and feels like. What's the first thing they would notice? How would their day be different? Creating that clear vision of a solved problem can be incredibly motivating, and it often shines a light on the very first steps they need to take.
So, a fantastic coaching conversation can't just end with interesting ideas. It has to wrap up with real clarity and a commitment to action. This is the part of the conversation where you turn those aha moments into an actual real-world plan.
So, the goals for this last phase are super clear. You want to help your team members summarize what they've learned, define their path forward, and feel a real sense of personal accountability for taking that next step.
This final question is so important. And notice the wording here, not what should be done, but what concrete steps could you take. That simple little shift puts the ownership squarely on their shoulders. The whole point is for them to leave with a clear, actionable plan that they designed themselves and are truly invested in.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? As a leader, your most brilliant idea doesn't mean a thing if it never gets put into action. But when a team member comes up with their own solution, even if it seems smaller or less perfect than yours, the chance of them actually doing it goes through the roof. And that is what creates real, lasting progress.
So that's the challenge I want to leave you with. The very next time a teacher or a colleague comes to you looking for an answer, just resist that urge to give it to them. Take a breath, get curious, and ask yourself, what powerful question can I ask instead that will help them find the solution that's already inside them?